My friends, how are you? It is fantastic to see you for yet another video, but today, my friends, we woke up to more violence in America, and I want to be super clear about a few things. This video does not call for any violence, or suggest any violence, or recommend any violence, or condone any violence, but there is a lot of things going on in America that we need to talk about as the violence in America continues to rise, my friends. And don't worry, I'm under no illusion that we didn't have a problem with gun violence in this country already. That has been a very long-standing thing that we just cannot seem to fix. We refuse to fix in this country. But what I'm pointing out today is that politically motivated violence is on the rise very, very rapidly in America. Today, we woke up to an ICE facility in I believe it was Dallas, definitely in Texas, being shot at, and two of the detainees at this ICE facility, I believe it was two, were actually killed. I don't know much about the person that was pulling the trigger in this particular instance. I've sort of been waiting for information to come out about who they are, what their motivations are. I believe they've been identified, but we haven't done the normal song and dance of going through their social media and talking to their friends and family and stuff like that. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I am past the point of giving a damn which side of the political spectrum these people are on, because the fact of the matter is, at this current state in America right now, this is going to continue to escalate unless, starting from the top, from the presidency all the way down through America, people start to come out and say we cannot be doing this in America anymore. Unfortunately, this behavior is going to continue to escalate on both sides. And I do not have high hopes that anybody in this country in a leadership role on the right is going to come out and say anything to try to calm down, try to cool off the temperature in this country. And I know I just said anybody, but I actually, unfortunately, have to give Ted Cruz a little bit of credit in this situation. And hopefully I remember to come back and talk about that. But the point is, I don't really give a fuck which side of the political spectrum anybody's on it anymore. Because what we are finding is, from the leadership of this country, through that leadership's cabinet, down through Fox News, and through the right-wing influencers all over the internet, the rhetoric and the threats against American people are extremely high. And it is my belief that that is the direct result, not the direct result, what am I trying to say? That is what's causing the people in America to be so on edge these days, and causing the escalation to just continue to happen when it comes to politically motivated violence in this country. And I know in a lot of my videos, I always say, if I just had one wish and then I go out and I tell you a thing, I understand that's becoming sort of a running joke around here, because that one wish is always something fucking different, isn't it? But if I had one goddamn wish, it would be for people like Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, and Jesse Waters and Brian Kilmeade, people like that, to just sit down and listen to a video like this and find out that I'm just a normal American, just like everyone else. I just happen to have different political views from the right, and my views are strictly political. I think that what they are doing to America is absolutely appalling. I think that their refusal to follow the rule of law in this country is one of the most despicable things I've ever seen, and to me that is very troublesome. Other than that, I am just your standard blue-collar truck driver from the trailer park. I am not a menace. I am not here to cause trouble. I just see problems on the right, and that's what I point out. But we've got a serious problem in this country, my friends. And I am giving Donald Trump full responsibility for the escalations in political violence in this country. And I'm going to explain why, if you're calm enough to sit here and listen to what I have to say, even if you are on the other side of the spectrum. Because we have got a president, my friends, that absolutely hates anybody that does not fall in lockstep with everything that he says. Donald Trump has referred to the left as in America as the enemy from within. That's right, he has referred to fellow Americans as enemies, my friends. Donald Trump, shortly after changing the Department of Defense, its name, to the Department of War, said that soon the city of Chicago will find out what they they mean by the Department of War. And for anybody that fucking sucks at geography, Chicago is a city in America. Donald Trump openly said that he was going to war with the American people. My friends, do we not understand how that is a problem and is causing massive escalations in this country? Donald Trump has used his ICE, who, according to Fox News, we have to stop referring to them as the Gestapo police. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal, Fox News. The minute they stop acting like it, then I will shut my fucking mouth and I will never ever say it again. But the problem right now is in these ICE raids, they are detaining, handcuffing and detaining completely innocent people. They are sending them off to concentration camps with no due process. And that is such an important thing that we need to be paying attention to, because I do my work on the internet, my friends, not the trucking. That don't get done on the internet, but the videos, those go on the internet. I unfortunately have the, how do I say this? I deal with shitty people because it's the internet, to which last week I had quite a few people shouting at me that they don't get due process because they're here illegally. And I am sick to fucking death of people saying shit that's not fucking true and saying it so goddamn confidently. Everyone in America is entitled to due process. That's how you figure the shit out. That's how you figure out what their immigration status is, where they're from, any other crimes they may have committed. Anything you need to find out happens in the due process phase. If you just grab someone and throw them in a fucking concentration camp without having any idea who the fuck they are, which is evident by how they treated Kilmar Abrego Garcia when they sent him off to a concentration camp in El Salvador, and then made up a bunch of lies about gang tattoos that were photoshopped onto his fucking knuckles, and then tried to accuse him of being a human trafficker and drug dealer. If we would have had due process in place, that would have never been a fucking problem. Ever. But the problem is ICE is just rolling through these neighborhoods, throwing people to the ground, like I said, all the bullshit that they're doing, and we're building our own concentration camps in this country. So the minute we knock that shit off, I will never ever refer to ICE as the Gestapo police again. I will shut the fuck up. And on that note, I want to go back to the part where I said I'm going to give Ted Cruz a little bit of credit. And this is how fucked up this country is right now, that even Ted Cruz is on the right side of some of these arguments. Ted Cruz came out and said the thing having to do with Jimmy Kimmel was a violation of free speech, said it should not have happened. Why the fuck am I agreeing with Ted Cruz on shit? That's fine, Ted. I'll take it. I'll take it. Well, I heard Ted Cruz speak today on this situation with the shooting at the ICE facility, and Ted Cruz said that there is no room for political violence in America. This may not be verbatim. He said that debates about immigration need to be handled in the halls of Congress so that we can get it all sorted out. I agree with you, Ted. Instead of you, because Ted, you're part of the problem, all right? Instead of you having no backbone and spine and never standing up to Donald Trump, it is up to people like you to stop Donald Trump's excessive force using ICE to go after cities, threatening war against American cities. It is up to people like you, Ted Cruz, to stand in his way and say this is not constitutional, this is illegal, and for fuck's sake, Donald, you're scaring the shit out of the American population. I need you to do that, Ted, because I think that's what we should do. I think we should take this debate back to the fucking halls of Congress and you guys all sort it out. And in the meantime, stop whatever Donald Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem and all these fucking lunatics are doing. Stop it in its fucking tracks. And we can get this all figured out. We can go back to the rule of law. We can go back to the handling immigration and shit like that. And also on that topic, I had to listen to Fox News this morning, my friends, talk about this situation, okay? Yes, they are eager to pin it on the left. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't give a fuck anymore. They are raising the temperature on purpose at this point, and as they continue to escalate, it's going to happen on both sides. Will they please bring down the fucking temperature? This starts at the leadership. But I had to listen to some Fox News dork say that the reason ICE is acting like this is all a result of Joe Biden's open border policy. Knock it the fuck off. Joe Biden did not have an open border policy. This is completely fucking made up by fucking Fox News and people like Donald Trump. There was no such thing as an open border policy under Joe Biden. Please stop lying to the American people. Please stop lying. But we need to be very clear about what's happening. In times in American history, in these times of tragedies like this, where violence was starting to boil over and people were doing shit that they shouldn't be fucking doing. And I can think of like the Oklahoma City bombing, right? That's a big example. You didn't have a president of the United States, my friends, come out and say it's the evil left, it's the enemy from within, we are going to war with their cities. You did not have Fox News even come out and say we are declaring a civil war against the left. You did not have that shit. You did not have, well, you didn't really have social media influencers then anyways, but you didn't have whatever the equivalent of that would have been then, calling for fucking violence against the other side because that fucking happened. What you've always had in this country, anytime a tragedy happened, was a president, be it Democrat or Republican, that went out and did a press conference and said, whatever is going on, I understand the people are hurting, but we need to bring the temperature down. We are all Americans and we are all in this together, and this is a tragic thing that happened, and we're not going to get that from Donald Trump is the fucking problem. If Donald Trump could come out and say, I went too far, I'm the one that fucking turned ICE loose on the cities with no due process. I'm the one that threatened American cities with war. I'm the one that fucking sent the National Guard into LA and into Washington, D.C. to scare the shit out of the American citizens. I'm the one that did that, and I was fucking wrong. The American people aren't my enemy. They are the people that elected me to be the president of the United States, and they trusted me to fucking do that. And I'm acting like an asshole and I should knock that shit off. That would be fantastic, Donald. That would be fantastic. But we're not going to get that. As of the time of recording this video, I have not heard Donald Trump speak on this yet. It might be that it happens by the time I release it, or it might be sometime after. When Donald Trump speaks on this, I can almost predict what he's going to say. He will say this is the violent, evil left. They are tearing apart our country. We must do something about them. And Donald Trump once again will escalate this situation. We used to just have political differences, my friends, and I truly believe that the right lost their fucking way a long time ago. All this culture war bullshit and all this demonization of other people is not actual policy. This is not serious policy that we need to be concerning ourselves with. The demonization of transgender people, listen, I'm not an educated man, my friends. I do the best with what I got. I looked up transgender a little bit to try to get an understanding of what it even is. And you know what the main conclusion I came away from on the whole thing is basically the science is still out on it. They're still trying to understand exactly what it is, right? So while we're trying to figure something out, do we have to demonize a group of fucking people? Can we just trust the science? Can we just figure out what the fuck it is? What the hell is going on? And I don't mean to be insensitive. I know that I have a lot of people that are transgender that watch my videos, and thank you, I appreciate that. What I'm saying is, in the limited information that I looked up, hell, we're still trying to figure it out. Either way, we have no right to fucking demonize this group of people, accuse them of like going after people's children when we can't even get through a week in this country without another Republican being arrested for fucking around with children. Why can't we figure this shit out? The demonization of a black woman trying to get a job. Now all of a sudden she don't have the brain processing power to have that job, and she's a DEI hire. For fuck's sake, she was just trying to work in what used to be the land of opportunity. Now she's demonized for just trying to get a fucking job. We need Enough of the bullshit. Enough of saying that the left needs to tone it down. We need the right, starting from Donald Trump, top to fucking bottom of this country, to fucking take some accountability for their actions for once in their fucking lives and tone this shit down. The President of the United States is referring to American citizens as his enemy. He stood there at Charlie Kirk's memorial service and he said that he hates his enemy and he does not wish the best for his enemy. This is our president? You've got to be fucking kidding me. And then we listen to these Fox News assholes talk about how they're going to start a civil war. Jesse Waters wouldn't last a day in the civil war that he's begging for, that he's asking for. We got to listen to right-wing influencers talk about it's open season on the Democrats. Fuck you, I'm just trying to live and survive in this fucking country. And you think it's okay to talk about it's open season on me now? I disagree strongly with that assessment, 100%. And even here, my friends, I had to get some lunatic the fuck out of my comment section because he lost his ever-loving mind. A couple days ago, I put out a video about Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled and Disney taking the hit on it. And I came out in support of that boycott. And I put on the thumbnail text, my friends, now is the time to fight back. I'm going to level with you. I just didn't know what to put in the thumbnail. I didn't know what catchy words to put up there. So I just went with that. I had 5 minutes to think about it. That was apparently interpreted by a viewer as a call to violence against them specifically. They thought, me not knowing them, I have no idea who they are, they thought that I took the time to put up a thumbnail where it was me challenging them to a fight in real time, to where they lost their ever-loving fucking minds and begged me over and over in the comments to choose violence because they've just been waiting to get their shot at me. You must be out of your goddamn mind. That video contained nothing to do with violence. It was about fighting back with your wallet and canceling your subscriptions and letting these companies know we're not bowing down to fucking fascism. But this is what the right takes from our words. They thought that that was me threatening them. My friends, this is not going to get better until, on the right side, Donald Trump stops referring to Americans as enemies. All right? Jesse Waters quits cheering for fucking civil war. Fucking Brian Kilmeade stops suggesting we kill the homeless. And these thousands and thousands of right-wing influencers that are taking to social media to declare that we have started a civil war, that we will be killing the left, that it is open season on the left. It is your turn to bring down the rhetoric in this country. It is your turn to fucking look to your neighbors and your friends and your family and be like, fuck, they may have different political views from me, but I actually don't wish that death on them. Because it has gone too fucking far and it is no longer on the shoulders of the left to lower the fucking temperature. The right calls for violence every fucking day. And the point of all of that is, I said earlier that if it keeps escalating, it's going to come from both sides. I don't want that to fucking happen. But when you've got a whole half of the population of America that has been called the enemy by the president, that has been threatened with military action against them by saying he's going to bring war to their city, who has had the military deployed in their cities against them because they were out peacefully protesting, when the Fox News refers to them as enemies and says it's time for war against the left, after Donald Trump has caused people to lose jobs, has caused their financial situation to get worse. What you need to know is at least half of the American population is terrified right now. And they feel like they have nowhere else to go because their own country is referring to them as the fucking enemy. People are going to lash out in these situations, Donald Trump. Can we bring the fucking temperature down? Can you stop referring to Americans as the enemy of America? I would appreciate it. Now, before I go on for another half hour, because this shit is pissing me off, my friends, I should just get the hell out of here and continue on with my day. Love you guys. Bye now.